Well, time has come to get started on this through hike of the long trail. I'm standing right over the Thru-Hike River right now, between Williamstown and North Adams, and near the Massachusetts-Vermont border. So it took me, I'll show you the river real quick. So it took me a little time getting here. Not getting started as early as I'd like, but it's before noon. So basically the situation is coming from Florida. I drove a rental car, Enterprise rental. The closest one to Williamstown and to the trailhead here is in Bennington, Vermont. So had to drop that off this morning. Jumped on a bus, that Green Mountain Express, that takes you from Bennington to Williamstown. That was $1. And then you have to jump on another bus, Massachusetts bus, that travels between Williamstown and North Adams, and they dropped me off just a few feet from the Appalachian Trail. So basically got off the bus and onto the trail. So $2 to get from Bennington to the trail, not bad. So I've got about almost 4 miles until I get to the Vermont-Massachusetts border and the official start of the long trail. So this is all going to be kind of a repeat for me from last year. Last year when I started, it was raining and it was very muddy, and I got poured on all the way to Seth Warner Shelter, Seth Warner, which is the first shelter, I believe. Today, different story. It's going to be brutally hot today. It's supposed to get up to 100 degrees in town. And that's all anyone around here is talking about, is the heat. So should be similar temps all the way through the 4th, and then it should start to cool down again. But so we're just going to take it nice and easy, probably not push too hard so that I don't kill myself in the heat. But looking today to make it past Seth Warner. So that's about 7 miles up. So we'll go, I think my two best opportunities after that would be Consultation Peak. I've heard there's some camping, stealth camping there. And then Congdon Shelter, I believe, is the second shelter. That would take me a little bit further than I expected to go on the first day, but we'll see how I feel. Once I get to Seth Warner, I'll probably stop there, eat some lunch or something. All right, well, I'm gonna shut it off now so I can get moving. And we'll see you again here pretty shortly. So I just wanted to mention this, when you're leaving Williamstown to North Adams area, you kind of walk along the road here after you cross the Thru-Hike River, and then you'll see a sign right up there pointing us to the AT, which is essentially right through this yard here, it looks like. We'll be going straight up there into the woods. I think I may have mentioned before, but in case I didn't, we will be on the AT and the long trail for about 100 miles. So you may hear me speak interchangeably about the AT and the long trail as we go. But here we go. All right, well, about a mile and a half, just under a mile and a half short of the Vermont-Massachusetts border. But let me tell you, man, this heat is for real. That's most of what the problem is there. I mean, oh, sorry, I almost dropped it. Coming out of, let's see, what is that? Massachusetts Avenue, where I took the clip there, walking along the road. Once you cross there and get on the trail, go back into the woods, man, it is most of the way to the border is uphill, which wouldn't be too bad. I did it last year in the rain, and it was obviously a lot cooler. Not just because of the rain, but it was cooler anyway, probably by about 20 degrees at least. So yeah, the heat is pretty tough today. Already drenched. If you saw me, you'd think I would just walk to a rain shower. But anyway, we're gonna push on. We'll film again here pretty soon. See ya. Oh man, well, I don't often just take a seat on the side of the trail. Usually wait till I get to some type of landmark, and I'd plan to rest a while when I got to the border. But man, that heat is just crazy. Just takes it right out of you. Another thing I compare it to is, you know, that last day hike I did. I didn't film it, but I've filmed a similar hike before. But last day hike I did out at the St. Mark's Wildlife Refuge down in National Wildlife Refuge down in near Tallahassee, where the heat is just crazy after, say, 10 in the afternoon, 10 in the morning. The only difference is the heat right now is the same here, if not worse, but you're not going flat like you are out at the refuge, dead flat. Here, going up pretty much nonstop. There are a couple dips, a couple flat spots between Massachusetts Avenue, where we started, and the border. Then I think it may level out or go down a little bit. Then maybe just a real quick up before you get to Seth Warner Shelter. Seth Warner Shelter would be about 8 miles on the day. I do not want to stop there, particularly because it does not get dark here until after 8:30. So if I stop there, I'd be stopping with a lot of daylight left. However, it is going to be pretty oppressively hot, probably throughout the afternoon. So when I get there, I'm definitely going to stop and eat. And then we'll just make a decision then whether I want to push on a few more miles. But to be honest with you, if I stop there, no big deal. 8 miles on the first day out, not terrible. I was hoping to get more like 10 to 12 miles, but we'll see. I think probably pretty much the plan is going to have to be from this point out at least until after the 4th. End of the week it's supposed to cool up, but I think between now and then, I think the plan is probably going to have to be get up really early. It starts, daylight starts to peek through, man, around 4:30 in the morning. By 5:30 it's nice out, but I have to just get up 4, something like that, and get on the move, and maybe even do it before breakfast, and then stop a few hours in and eat breakfast just to get some of the miles out of the way before around this time. Right now it's about 11:15 in the morning. I've been on the trail for about an hour, and it started out really hot. So man, if I can get 3, 4, 4.5 hours of hiking in before 10, that would be pretty good. So anyway, I've chewed up about 3.5 minutes here just yapping at the camera as I sit here pretty much dead already. But so far feeling good. Legs feel good. Body feels good, except that I feel like I'm nearing heat exhaustion. But anyway, so far so good. I'll probably between here and the border there is a pretty cool little rock scramble. If you saw last year's videos, it was raining when I went up and over that. There is a foul weather detour around it. I chose to go over it last year. I'm glad I did. It wasn't too treacherous, but it is kind of cool, little rock scramble. So I may take a peek there with you guys, and then again at the border. But I've already filmed probably more than I want to for the first half of a hike, first few miles of a hike. But it is the first day, so you'll have to grant me a little leeway. We'll check in again here. I think that's about a half mile to a mile up. We'll see. All right, man. One of the cruel jokes of hiking is sometimes you have to really wear yourself out just to get to the beginning of a trail. So here we are on the Vermont-Massachusetts border. This is the official start of the long trail, and I guess the second official start of this particular adventure since I started 4 miles ago, and it was that 4 miles was mostly ascent. Kicked my butt getting here. So, but I'm excited to be here. I was here on this spot just a little more than a year ago, beginning of June of last year, second week of June of last year, I guess. And I was in my rain gear because it was a day that was pouring. There was mud everywhere. Not a lot of mud today, but very hot temperatures. I guess Vermont is intent on making me work for it, whether it be rain or extreme heat. So, but I guess I was thinking on the way over here, you don't come out here for perfect conditions. You just come out here for the perfect experience. So we're going to hope for that, and we'll be happy with that. So not sure what we're going to do from here. I'm going to go over and there's a log book right over in a box over on that tree, back that way underneath that sign. I'm going to sign in, chill out here, drink some water, take in the moment, and then move forward. Next stop will be South Warner Shelter for a break to eat, and then I'll decide if I'm going to go any further. It's still early. See ya. Okay, since the board of this is kind of how the trail has looked, there was a little bit more of a descent, steep descent right after the border, but for the most part it's been fairly moderate. Ooh, that's a big boulder. It's amazing. It's kind of perched right there. So already I've seen quite a few thru-hikers, far more than I saw last year early in June. So I guess we're kind of in the middle of big groups moving through now. All right, just wanted to show you the trail.
You can kind of like unhook it right here.
Oh, yeah.
And that will save you a bunch. And then you can like tie this down.
And then just roll it up.
Mine has like a strap that goes over. You might be able to find out something, but usually it's like fine if you just cinch it up.
Okay, yeah.
Because this, just the fabric in this.
Yeah,
oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Might
no,
be weighing you down.
No, I don't care.
Is this for your sawyer?
Yes.
Okay, so you don't need that.
Okay.
Because what you can do with your water bottles, so you mark one dirty and one clean.
Yep.
So you I put a tape on it, or I'll like peel this.
Yep.
So that I know that this is the dirty one. So only dirty water ever goes in this one. And then you filter it with your filter, and you have clean water in here. And then you can just flip your filter around. I'll show you. And you can back flush it that way. Or you can
Get a squeeze top for the top of one of those bottles.
yeah. Where's my square?
Okay, so we have an on-trail shakedown going down, pack shakedown going down.
So
Roadrunner O'Leary shaking down a newcomer.
So I would just...
Hey, good morning. It is morning day 2, and here at the South Warner Shelter, the water source, which is right downhill from the shelter. Pretty easy walk, not a steep downhill, but so we got in last night. I took that little film clip you'll see of that on-trail shakedown. That was pretty cool. Brand new hiker being shaken down by a seasoned thru-hiker. So I thought you might find that interesting, and she gave him some good tips. I think he'll make some adjustments when he gets to town. But shelter got packed last night. Well, there were, I say packed, there were just a couple people sleeping in the shelter, but a bunch of tents. Several groups showed up pretty late, so I didn't do any more filming. But we're getting ready to get started here. I'm gonna make some breakfast real quick. Still a bunch of people sleeping in their tents, so but I thought the thing to do was to get an early start, because man, that heat is gonna just pour on here before too long. So I'm gonna try to get some miles in before that happens. But we will check in. Not sure if we'll check in again before we leave the shelter, but certainly before too long we'll check in. Talk to you soon. At about 2 miles in today, trail opens up for this power line, but also gives us our first really big views of the trip. Take a break up here for you. All right, this is a pretty cool section here. This is about a mile past those power lines from the last clip. It's a beaver outlet pond, apparently. Now, throughout my hike last year, I failed to see a single beaver, though I passed several beaver ponds. So that's on the list for this year. Just to find beavers. You'll see this. It's pretty amazing right here. Look at this dam. It's just amazing, remarkable what these beavers can do. Now, if I can only see them doing it, that would be a bonus. Look at that. What a beautiful morning. It is hot today, but there is a pretty nice breeze as well. All right, I'm gonna keep moving. Pass another beaver pond here before too long, so we'll take a look. So let me just give you guys a heads up. This is looking southbound on the AT. I just came from there, but I'll tell you, I just got thrown off here for a little bit. Fortunately, it was only a few tenths of a mile, but this is after the first beaver pond, and I believe before we get to Consultation Peak, kind of on an ascent. You kind of go up, down, then up again before you go down significantly. But basically what happened here was I missed this kickover blaze here, which would have indicated, of course, with the top one set over to the left, that there's you should turn to the left here. That's pretty important because I turned to the right and went down this double track road for a few tenths of a mile before thinking that I was maybe going the wrong way, and backtracked when in fact the trail goes down this way. So I don't know if that'll be helpful to anyone by the time they get out here who plans on hiking the long trail, but if nothing else, it's just an indication that you got to kind of be aware, because if you start daydreaming out here by yourself, sorry, that was a bug, you can get thrown off the trail. So there he is. He just came back out. I think that might be a different one. Looks a little bigger. Carrying a branch. Must be doing some work on the dam. All right, I think we actually move over in that direction, so we'll see. All right, well, my word of caution back there where I made that wrong turn was apparently not heeded by myself, because I've just been walking southbound now for a little bit and thought things were happening more quickly than they should have, but that's because I was seeing them for the second time. That beaver pond that I just showed you in the last clip was the first beaver pond that we came across. I guess the good thing about it is that we got to see a couple beavers. So anyway, we'll make our way back up here and doing some extra steps today. All right, well, we made it to Consultation Peak, 2,810 feet. There are a couple, well, pretty good size stealth site up here. Not sure, I guess there's water right before you get here, though I'm not sure how dependable it is, so that would be the only thing, just make sure you bring water. I do not believe this is listed in gut hooks for some reason. I think it is in AWOL, and I believe it is, well, no, it is in the long trail maps and guidebooks. So something to think about. This is about, I want to say 2.5 miles maybe before you get to Congdon Shelter, and about 5 miles maybe after South Warner. So good middle ground. Talk to you soon. It's a pretty cool area here. If you watch my videos from last year's hike, you'll remember seeing this beaver pond. And this is the trail on these boardwalks, and we will be probably right around in here, actually below the level of the beaver pond, which is kind of interesting. Alright, well, we're about half a mile to Congdon Shelter. You come across Stamford Stream is the name of this. Pretty cool stream. Deep enough in a few spots here to take a dip. Good water source, but there's water at the shelter. So we'll pass this up for now. Not sure if I'll be staying at Congdon. It's kind of early. Considering climbing up I forget the name of the hill right now, right past Congdon, but there's supposedly a stealth site up top. So I'm considering that. We'll think about it after taking a little break at the, probably a big break at the shelter. See you then. All right, Congdon Shelter. Looks like no one here right now. Again, it's really early in the day. I'm gonna chill out here for a little bit though. Looks like the box to hold the journal. Trail register is broken down. I showed you this shelter last year. It's designed to sleep 8 with 2 on each bunk. You could fit 2 or 3 down at the bottom if need be. All right, we're gonna chill here. All right. I was just thinking I hadn't really filmed a whole lot today on the trail, but I've been making pretty good progress. I could probably go a little further, but I don't want to, figure it'd be better to take it a little easier first few days. So I skipped Congdon Shelter, hung out there for a little bit, rested up, got some water. And next on the list is Harmon Hill. Now Harmon Hill is an open summit of sorts and beautiful views. I'm going to hopefully find a stealth site there. There is no water, so this last 2.5 miles since Congdon has been pretty heavy since I'm carrying 3 liters. And what I'll do, just to make sure that I have enough water, what I'll do is just not eat hot meal tonight, but eat one of my lunches or something. That'll be fine. That way I'm not having to boil water for rehydration. And then in the morning, and the reason I'm doing that is ordinarily I think I have enough water, but it has been so hot and perspiring so much that I know I'm going to be just down in a couple liters tonight, I'm sure. But in the morning, if I have enough, I will eat my regular hot breakfast. If not, I can eat some energy bars and get moving. Tomorrow will likely be, sorry, I'm just messing around with my trekking poles here. But tomorrow will likely have to be, we'll just see how I feel, but it will likely have to be a little bit longer day than I would probably pull on the 3rd day. And that's if I decide to stay at a shelter, because the first shelter is just a few miles up. In fact, I considered going there tonight, but and I do probably have time to get there, but I'm banking on a pretty epic sunset tonight, so we'll see. So the first shelter is pretty close. Second shelter be about 13 up, if I'm not mistaken. Certainly doable, but probably not what I would have preferred on the 3rd day, since I'm trying to finish the marathon and not win any sprints on this trip. So anyway, hopefully I have some good stuff to show you here in a few minutes, but sorry for the shaky camera, end of the day, and I'm walking, descending this hill. See you in a few. All right, so this is going to be the end of day 2 This is the view from the campsite tonight on top of Harmon Hill. Sun setting in the background. Did just about 10 miles today. Probably a little more with my my backtracking mistake, but everything ended well. We're going to close out the first video with day 2. We'll check in again in the morning.